All right. Hey, everybody, this is Frankie Slauson, and welcome to another great edition of the Frankie Slauson Show right here on KTQ. And now that we're back on the air on 91.3 FM, I have with me a very special interview today. If you guys are big movie nerds from way back in 1995 when there was a certain movie called Angus that came out, or if you've followed this guy's career back in 2006 when he was in a movie called Bachelor Party Vegas, or if you're lucky enough to even see some of his stand-up, who am I talking about? The great Charlie Talbert. I have him on the line right now, and how's it going there, Charlie?
I would go as far as to say the mediocre at best Charlie Talbert. No, I'm doing great. How's the world?
Oh, the world is a wonderful place, still, even in today's world. So how's it going overall, and what have you been up to these days?
Well, like you said, I've been delving into stand-up comedy. I was doing film and television up until about, I would say, '08, and then I kind of stood back and said, hey, I need to stop living like a 20-year-old. I need to focus on getting married so I can tell jokes later in the future. So I got married, got divorced, and now I'm telling jokes. And in fact, my next performance will be at the Comedy Store, the world-famous Comedy Store on Sunset on the 22nd at 7:30.
Oh, geez. Wow, that's a pretty good story and a detailed, quick little response there. Because, I mean, I suppose, you know, when you plan for stuff like that, whether it's marriage or trying to improve your life, you hope that everything just works just like it would be in a storybook, kind of. Have a happy ending or a great beginning and a great ending, kind of.
Yeah, it's true. You know, when you spoke of Angus, and Angus, the kid gets the girl, you know, and he falls in love, and everything was happy ever after. And in reality, I got the girl, and then I divorced her. So it was nice. It's still happy ever after. We're good friends, but man, does it make for some funny. And mainly, it's on me. It really has nothing to do with her. It was just somebody calling me out every day on my BS and what I was doing.
Oh, sure. Well, I suppose, and maybe being single is probably the better route. I mean, I'm a single guy, too, and so I've never been married. I don't have no kids, so I don't know. Maybe it's just God's way of telling us maybe it's best to be single for a while. I don't know.
Or maybe it's just God's way of saying, hey, you should go shop a little more before you settle down at such a young age.
Well, you and I are only about 5 years apart, roughly, because I turned 30 in 1983. I was born in 1983, so I turned 30 last September, and you just recently turned 35. So there's just a little bit of a 5-year gap between the two of us, and I was kind of surprised that I didn't realize that you had a Facebook or whatnot until a friend of mine, Brendan Mitchell, who I talked to you about last night, who you met and stuff. He said you were doing some comedy, and I just like, wow, I was always kind of wondering what the heck happened to the kid from Angus. I thought he just was a one-hit wonder and just kind of disappeared like a fart in the wind, more or less.
And as I browsed through the wind, I found stand-up comedy. Yeah, man, I just, my divorce went through, and I woke up, and I used it only as a point of reference, not a point of suicidal tendencies. Or I just want you guys to know that I'm just really alone right now, and if somebody could just help, that would be good. No, what happened was I just woke up one morning, and I had like this 5-minute routine I just spouted out of my head, and you know, I said to myself, I said, you know what a beautiful moment is for a guy with a girl. It's when you're sitting there in a restaurant, you know, and she's looking at you, and you're looking at her, and you're having that intimate moment, you know, and she's just right there, you know, like 10 or 15 tables away with another dude, you know. So I figured, you know, that's a beautiful relationship right there. And then I said, you know what else I'm in love with? It's my fridge. I've never had something that's so easy to open, you know, that pleases me so much. And I don't get upset when other guys stick their meat in it. And it doesn't get mad at me for being inside of it for less than a minute or so, you know. And I just, you know, I got a neighbor who lives across the way. He helped create Family Guy and Call of Duty, and he's a writer and producer. I just ran over there half naked, and I said, dude, you got to wake up. I've got some funny. Let's do this. And that was about 7 months ago, and this next Friday will be my I think 22nd show.
Oh wow! So it's just it's just something that just started your career. I mean, or kind of restarted your career because a lot of people probably, I mean, whether they know or they don't know that you were the kid or that you were Angus, and I'm sure you probably get sick and tired of hearing the same old Angus questions, the same old Angus references, but it kind of did break you into the acting world more or less.
Yeah, I never get tired of it. It was TV helped me through some rough times in my young, adulthood, and it really got me through. So to be a part of TV, just a medium, and being able to reach out and touch people's lives was really quite amazing. In fact, my best friend in that movie, Chris Owen, is actually still my best friend in real life, and we've just finished like our 14th project together. I mean, we try to keep each other going and motivated. And the stand-up comedy actually just led to a new gig I'm working on. It's kind of like a G4 network kind of thing. It's called Oomba TV, OOMBA, and it's like gaming, but not only video gaming, but like life sports. Like speed golf or skydiving, or even like Gen Con, which is going to be in Indianapolis. We're going to go check out, and they do like large gaming areas where you do role playing and things like that. Kind of the D&D heroes of the world.
Is that something that you kind of enjoy? Like, are these things that you actually enjoy, like that you would do even if you weren't getting paid to do them?
No, these are things that I kind of report on. I'm kind of just part of that, letting people into the world through Oomba on what they do. So it's kind of like I shoot probably 10 episodes a week, and it takes me about 5 minutes an episode, and I just kind of go through it, and then sometimes we'll go out to places and visit the actual event and do interviews and things like that, and just kind of really get people involved. And the stand-up kind of helped me break back into that world.
So let's kind of go back into the beginning of your, like kind of when you were a little kid and stuff, and how did you get into the acting bug?
I basically I was a poor black kid from Kenosha, Wisconsin. And, I was out on the streets, and, oh, no, wait, no, that's not my story. What did I do? Oh, yeah, I was a fat kid who, I was into cycling, through my boss, who was a really great guy, Tony Ruffalo, and he would take me down to Northbrook, Illinois, and we were heading back up. We stopped at the Wendy's that hangs over the freeway there with the 31 flavors, just north of Northbrook. I think it was Lake Forest, yeah. And then I was just telling a joke one night. It was like midnight, and everybody started laughing and going crazy. And this guy comes up to me. His name was Patrick Reed Johnson, and he had directed the movie Space Invaders. And he comes up to me and he says, "Hey, how'd you like to be in a movie?" And I said, "Hey, are you hitting on me?" And he goes, "Why would you say that?" I said, "Well, I'm an overweight kid. I have boobs, and I'm wearing spandex, and it's near Chicago. And we want to make a movie at 12 o'clock at night. So, I got questions." And so he said, no, this is me, And I was like, "Oh, my God, I know that movie." He says, goes out his wallet, and I saw all the cash and the platinum cards and stuff. I was like, "Ooh, this guy means something." So I went home, and I told my mom that night. It's about 12:30 I got home, and I said, "Mom, I might be in a movie." And she says, "Charlie, go to bed." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." So, and then I came back down. They told me to come down the following Friday, and I met with Jane Alderman, who cast Rudy, and the director. And I was in a room with a bunch of people. Apparently they'd been looking for this gig for 3 years, and a lot of young actors, Ethan Suplee, Michael Ray-Barrow, all these kids were up for it at the time. And I went in, and they were like, "Okay, read your audition piece." And I'm like, "What's an audition piece?" And they're like, "Oh, you're the kid we discovered." So they sent me home with some notes. They had me do some improv, just goofing around with them, and I came back a few days later, and the rest is quasi history. They sent me out to LA, and I met Chris, and they locked us in a room together and filmed us without us knowing it, which I'm pretty sure is illegal in some states.
Yeah.
But we got along. We were finishing each other's jokes, and they said, "Hey, we want to send you guys to Disneyland and give you $200 a piece and see if you guys get along." And I looked at them and I said, "Who the hell is not going to get along in the happiest place on earth with $200 in their pocket?" So we got the part.
Especially $200 in 1990s money.
Yeah, right. We're talking crisscross will make you jump.
Yeah.
Jump.
But you know what I found really interesting about the movie Angus, and it's been a while since I've seen it, but I have seen it. I realized that they just put it on DVD not too long ago. So the last time I saw it was on videotape. So it's been a while.
That's right.
But
that's right. In fact, this was one of the last movies I ever owned on videotape.
Oh, jeez. But what I find kind of ironic about that is that some of the parts were filmed in Minnesota, and I'm originally from northern Minnesota. So any movie that's been filmed in Minnesota that is got well known or just got a little publicity, I think that's kind of neat, just because of the Minnesota feel to it.
Well, that was a very interesting movie. Like, the movie itself, when we first read it, was completely different. Chris Crutcher's version, he wrote the short story. They've been joking around about doing a sequel, which is pretty funny. But the original story had two fathers that were gay. And Larry Drake, and I believe his name is Robert Chaz, I can't remember his last name. They were the gay fathers in the movie, and Larry Drake was Dr. Giggles. I don't know if you remember that. But he played my father, and he divorced my mom, and it was like this whole separation. And we had people where we were shooting in Owatonna, they were cocktail bombing the set because they didn't want essentially gay people in the story.
Oh, yeah.
So they kibossed the original whole plan for Angus, and it turned out to just be, one of those, teen movies that really help people with weight problem or differences get through their lives. And that's kind of really what, for me, it was all about, was I got to go back to school and say, see, anybody can do it.
and I think even if that movie would have came out, like, now, I think it would have really helped on the whole bullying thing, because it seemed like a lot of the story between you and James Vanderbeek at the time, in the movie anyway, for the characters, that you guys got a lot of fights. He definitely picked on you a lot.
Well, James, as far as I had heard, James Vanderbeek didn't really talk about the movie Angus a lot because of the bullying scenario. So he didn't really. I just recently saw an interview with him and Eric Andre, a comedian, where he actually talked about the movie for the first time in a long time, and it was mainly because he was not a positive character in that film.
Yeah.
But I told him, not a lot of people worried about it since Babe came out the same weekend.
yeah. Everybody wants to watch Babe instead. But I think it's kind of neat. I mean, for a movie that it's definitely a well-known teen movie, and I mean they got so many nowadays. What do you think of the teen movies now compared to back in the 90s or even in the 80s?
Well, I don't spend a lot of time watching teen movies. Okay. By law, I'm not allowed to, that kind of thing. But, no, I don't watch a lot of teen movies. I've seen a few here and there, but teen movies are more in accordance now to, like, what American Pie would be. They're shooting for that next great, teen sex comedy. And even the awkward dramas like Diary of a Wimpy Kid, that's more towards the Angus venue, and that's pretty good. Like, I was comfortable with that series of movies and things like that.
I think it'd be kind of cool if you got like a guest appearance. And there's a show out there on CBS that I'm a big fan of. Just became a fan of it, within the last year. Watch just about every episode up to their current episode right now. Mike and Molly is a great show based on fat people that they're not really the target of jokes, even though they kind of are. But the two actors playing them are so hilarious, and I think how cool it would be for you to have a guest appearance in a show like that.
Well, when that good piece comes along, I'll definitely go for it. My manager keeps an eye out on breakdowns and stuff like that. That's one of those shows that I'd like to get hooked up with. They've already got a good-looking big guy and a good-looking big gal on there, and I just don't want to hurt their chances of losing ratings because I leave the show.
Are you pretty familiar with the show though? Overall, do you watch it?
Yeah. I've seen a few of the episodes, and I just recently had met the lead gal. She's funny as heck. I remember auditioning for Go back in the day, and that was one of her first jobs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. She's the one that knows that the two are having an affair. And she's like, did you know you guys missed each other by a minute? But I always found her adorable, and I'm really glad she's taken off.
Yeah, and that's just the thing about it. It's like you never know where fame's going to get you. Eventually, many years later, you came back into the spotlight. I mean, I don't know all the stuff that you've done. I just know some of the key things. I have never seen Bachelor Party Vegas, but I know that you worked with Cal Penn from Harold and Kumar. So what was that like for you?
Cal and I knew each other. I worked on, I was in Van Wilder as well. And so was my buddy Chris and Chris Owen. And Cal recognized me when I came into the audition room for Bachelor Party Vegas, which was originally called Vegas Baby. And it was really neat because, you know, we connected right away and we had a good bond and we had a good time when we were shooting. And, you know, Donald Faison was in that flick as well from Scrubs. And, you know, he and I had kind of wacky, goofy personalities. And it was really kind of a fun and uplifting show to do. And that was a period where I remember that was like one of 7 films that I did that year. And I was just like exhausted. I was like, all right, let's do it anyway. So let's make it happen. And it was really neat to do.
And what other films have you done? Any other big notable roles, or just more independent stuff?
I've done a lot of independent. Like I did, I did a movie called 20 Years After the Fall, which is picking up a lot of traction. It's about the first baby born after the apocalypse. I've done. I wish I had my resume in front of me. But I've done a lot of like Kickstarter stuff to get people going and get them started in film, and you know, show them my enthusiasm. But I did a movie called Who's Your Daddy, which was out. I think that we shot that right before that film. That's why, yeah, exactly. We were working on Van Wilder at the same time we were working on Who's Your Daddy. In fact, in Van Wilder, you'll see I'm wearing a Who's Your Daddy shirt.
Oh.
But yeah, quite a few films. I've done about since I've been in the industry, I've done about 34 films and about 20 television shows. And the last thing that I worked on was actually up until I released myself from acting for a while. I did the Charlie Talbert show, which was basically like YouTube in my brain.
Oh yes.
For CBS Mobile.
I actually saw that. Saw your YouTube channel last night actually, and watched a couple of the videos that you did, a couple of the short videos anyway. And I gotta say, I mean, it's just kind of neat. I mean, did you always think that you're going to be a part of the entertainment industry one way or another, or did you ever think of doing something like a normal 9-to-5 job?
Well, I actually do a normal 9-to-5 job. I manage a Joseph A. Bank clothier in Glendale, California.
Okay.
And I do, I'm a loss prevention captain where, sometimes we'll visit stores and try to help people keep on track as far as what they're doing. And I've done suits on and off now for 16 years. So when I wasn't working as an actor, I was selling suits or working with clothes. I'm kind of a clothes horse when it comes to suits and things like that. And the reason I like doing suits is the exact same reason I like doing film and television, is because you get to be a part of some of the biggest moments in people's lives and help them through things and help them get that job, or, give them that positive influence, which helped me, get out here and do what I wanted to do. And now it's got me back on stage on Sunset,
So what are your goals as far as the entertainment industry goes, like in the next 2 years?
Well, right now the stand-up, I kind of have a TV show in mind that I've been working with Kevin, talking to Kevin Farley about. I want to do a show with him. Kevin and I worked together years ago on a show, and his brother was there, Chris. I had a very, very great weekend with Chris Farley, which was nice. And it was about a month before he passed away. And Kevin and I have always talked and remained close. So it's him and John. We've always been good buds. So he's doing the stand-up thing, and I've been trying to be good enough so I can go up there and hang out with him and pitch this show idea with him and kind of make it work, and we'll see what happens. The producer that I told you about, Dan Smith, is the guy who wants to put all that together.
And I think it's just kind of interesting because the fact that you and Chris Farley and Kevin Farley and the whole Farley family is from Wisconsin. So I mean, you got that kind of connection,
Yeah, that's definitely where some of that bond comes in. And the fact that we're all goofy as shit.
Well, hey, I mean, sometimes you gotta be. But I think that's kind of neat. Were you ever inspired, by SNL or even SCTV in some of your inspiration?
More so SCTV than SNL. I've always had an admiration for Bill Murray. I'm a chiver. Keep calm and chive on. I was very pleased to have had time to meet Harold Ramis before he passed away, which was neat. I've worked with Dave Thomas from SCTV. I've met in John Levy and Eugene Levy and what am I thinking of? Martin Short. So I've met a lot of those guests, and I've worked with a bunch of people that were in that era. Like I worked with William Atherton, who you may know as the environmentalist from Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
He was in Who's Your Daddy with us, and he was Gilda Radner's older maid. I've always found a good tie to that because growing up I would watch a lot of SCTV, and I got a lot of compliments. You know, Dave Thomas and Eugene Levy both said to me once that I reminded them of John Candy.
Oh, sure.
And that was probably one of the best compliments I've ever received.
Oh, yeah, and definitely, I mean, if you and John Candy and Chris Farley ever would have done a movie together, oh boy, I can only imagine what that probably would have been a blockbuster, I'm pretty sure.
I kind of picture them as, you know, you can either go the John Candy route or you can go the Chris Farley route. And the Chris Farley route are big actors that make fun of the fact that they're big, or the John Candy route where you just happen to be big and you're an actor.
Yeah.
So I'm a little combo of the two.
I remember when you mentioned about William Atherton, I remember he also did a movie called Real Genius with Val Kilmer. That was a pretty.
You know, I've actually that was one of my checklists in life. Actually, Gabriel played Mitch in Real Genius. I had a chance to hang out with him at a bar down in Santa Monica one evening, and I told him, I said, you know, I've worked with Val Kilmer, I've worked with William Atherton, and I've worked with John Kreese, who he and I did a movie called Waterborne, and I was like, I pretty much got most of all the cast of that movie now that I've worked with.
Oh, that's you know, and that's just something that you can, you know, as you get older in life, you know, you can always look back and say, you know, I did this, I did that, I got to work with this person, I got to work with that person. That's kind of how I feel about my interviews. When we get done with this interview, I'll send you the link via Facebook to my YouTube page because I got lots of stuff that a lot of other big name people other than yourself that I've interviewed throughout the course of the last, well, since 2006 anyway. And it's just kind of interesting, I guess, you know, when you put it all together. Of, you know, you never know what road life's going to take you. If you would have went a different direction and said, I'm just going to stay in Wisconsin and be a farmer, or just anything else, you know, or just be a regular person, you know, like now, who knows where your life would have been, huh?
Well, I tell you, one of the most memorable nights I've ever had in my life comes from doing film, and it's in my I was shooting a film in actually in Minot, North Dakota, and I had to leave Minot and go to LA. And my grandma just had a heart attack, and I was like, I'm gonna go back and see Grandma, see how she's doing. She recovered, you know. And she's like, No, you go film. So the next day, I get to LA, and I'm supposed to shoot this other movie called Wishcraft, and I get there on the way to getting a full fake body cast of myself made for this movie because it was a horror flick with Meatloaf. Our car gets shot at because there's some gang war or something going on at the time, and the bullets hit the car, and we didn't get hurt, thank God, me and the driver. And then that night I was so shaken up, my buddy Chris said, hey, you need to come out to this party with me. That night we showed up to the party. It was this is how long ago this was. It was the Britney Spears in-sync lap party.
Oh, jeez.
And we go to this party at Las Palmas, and I see Britney standing alone, and all my friends are there, and I go, you guys dare me to ask her to dance? And they're like, do it. So I go up, and I go, hi, I'm Charlie, and she goes, I'm Britney, and I'm thinking, no kidding. And I said, you know, would you like to dance? And she goes, do you know how? I said, no, but for you, I'll fake it. So I danced with her. I go outside. I feel all great about that. And then Alan Cummings comes up to me, and you might remember him from the Bond films. He works a lot with Parker Posey. And he says, hey, I don't know what you're doing, but my friend over there thinks you're really hot and would like to hang out with you. And I said, what friend? And I look over, and it's Parker Posey.
Oh, jeez.
And I'm like, this is probably the happiest moment of my life. You can take me now, Doc. And I ended up working with her on Spring Breakdown, actually in '08, and it was really kind of neat.
See, you just never know. Life is so incredible that way.
I know, small world. You never know, from, you know, being the big kid everybody picked on to being the big kid who's dancing with Britney Spears and having Parker Posey saying you're hot. You feel good. You feel good about it.
So before I let you go after doing this interview, and I want to say thank you first of all for let me have the time and you taking the time for me to talk to you for a little bit. The last question, no problem. The last question is, what advice would you have for somebody who wants to be an actor, and what type of good advice would you give that person?
Okay, here's my shameless plug. You want to check out my Facebook page, Charlie Talbert Comedian. And if you have questions like that, go ahead and inbox me and say, hey, I don't know what to do. There's different stages for people that want to be an actor. You know, there's people that come out and they're like, I want to be an actor. First, I've got to get my headshots. It's not about getting your headshots. Never have to pay for your agent manager. Just go out there with all your heart, be fun, and every room you're in, be infectious, not obnoxious. It'll be, your ticket to what you want to do.
Ah, awesome. All right, well, thanks, Charlie. And once again, this is an interview with Charlie Talbert. If you don't know this guy by now, well, what the heck have you been doing? You should have been listening to the interview. Well, thanks so much, Charlie. I definitely appreciate you just taking the time to let me do this with you.
Well, it's such a pleasure. Absolutely. Thanks for having me, gang.
Hey, no problem. You take care, and we'll hopefully talk to you again in the future.
You got it, bud. Thanks so much.
Bye. And that was Mr. Charlie Talbert, and I hope you guys enjoyed this interview with him. And it was a lot of fun to be able to do stuff like this. This is my 4th interview this year in 2014. It's not the only 4 interviews I've ever done, but if you want to go take a look at this interview as well as all the other interviews I have done so far, there's a lot of them. There's pretty much over 100 of them. I will just tell you. Even though it might say 91 videos, but there's actually well over 100 that I have done. Please take a look at youtube.com/Frankie Slawson Show. FrankySlawsonShow. And yes, youtube.com/Frankie Slawson Show. And always updating the interview series. There's still more interviews I'm going to be doing throughout the year. This summer, might even bring back my Icons of Pop Culture series that was a popular favorite last summer when I did that back in my hometown of Greenbush. So now that I'm in Rapid City, hey, you never know. The sky's the limit. We'll be right back with some more great music and more of the Frankie Slawson Show right here on K-Tech on 91.3 FM. We are live on the air on both the internet and the actual airwaves. Be right back. All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Frankie Slawson Show. Another great edition right here on K-Tech and also available on YouTube. As we celebrate the road to WrestleMania this weekend, WrestleMania 30, as you guys know, will be in New Orleans this Sunday, April 6th. And what better way to celebrate WrestleMania weekend with a legendary wrestling announcer, commentator, the guy who, if you don't know him, where the hell you been? Mr. Mean Gene Okerlund. How's it going?
Well, I've been called a lot of things, and you covered about half of them in that introduction.
Well, welcome to the show, Mean Gene. I appreciate you being on.
I'm not exactly certain where you're located. I got telephone numbers from all over the world and different towns and states that I've never even heard of. But wherever you are, it's going to be a great day.
Oh, of course, and it's even greater now that you and I are communicating today.
I agree.
So as we talk about WrestleMania, are you going to be at WrestleMania this year?
Are you kidding me? What do you think? You're playing with sheep? Of course I'm going to be at WrestleMania. And I'm going to be also part of the Hall of Fame the night before. I was inducted back in 2006. And I'm not so certain the company doesn't have a surprise for me that I may be inducting somebody who I do not know.
Okay.
That's why it's a surprise.
Oh, yes.
You're following me there.
Yep. I definitely am.
We got a great class, though, as you know. I mean, with the Ultimate Warrior, you've got Jake the Snake Roberts, believe Mr. T is going to be part of it. I mean, that list goes on and on. Very impressive.
Yeah, last night, or this past Monday night on Raw, we found out that Scott Hall, a.k.a. Razor Ramon, is also going to be inducted.
Right, I got the call from him in the middle or latter part of the week, and he had just received the news, and, you know, he's turned his life around a lot, so he's thrilled with the opportunity of this induction into the Hall. He deserves it, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Both him and Jake the Snake Roberts last year, especially with the help of Diamond Dallas Page, really turned their life around, you know, from where they were to where they are now.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think DDP has got to be given a lot of credit in getting those guys to wear their hats right, because it was a little rough there for, I would say, a couple of decades for both of those guys. They got into the wrong crap, and that's history now, though.
Oh, yeah.
It's a whole new life.
And that's what's so exciting about it. But for you, of course, when it comes to WrestleMania, I mean, and just being involved in pro wrestling, I mean, this has been pretty much your life for, what, at least 30, 40, about 40 years?
Hey, let me do the math on it, okay?
Okay.
I don't want you busting my balls and letting these people know exactly how old I am, even though I believe it's in the record. Hey, we're not on YouTube, are we? Hold it. You know, I'm a little scantily dressed here in my office, and I don't want anything going out over YouTube that might embarrass me. Right.
But we're also streaming on KTech, which is here in Rapid City, South Dakota, and about back in the late 90s, you participated in all four of the WCW's Road Wild, or Hog Wild in 96, and then the Road Wild from 97 to 99. And,
right, and I spent a little time up there in Sturgis. I spent a little time up there with Dennis Rodman. Dennis has got two speeds, 0 and 130. And I did have access to a bike, but I couldn't keep up with this guy. And there's something about shots. You know, out in the Black Hills there, people, they've hit Buffalo. What are shots for?
I don't know. I really don't. I guess if you really like to drink, I guess shots are a traditional thing in just about every bar.
Yeah, not my deal, but I'd sooner have a nice dry martini. But nonetheless, no. Getting back to the Hall of Fame, it's going to be very exciting. We've got it in the big building where the Bobcats play, and of course. Right next door is the Louisiana Mercedes-Benz Superdome, and that's going to be the location this year of WrestleMania 30. Man, it's come a long way. No more Madison Square Gardens. Well, we had the Hall of Fame there last year, but it's going to be from here on out in all the big super venues.
You know,
and I think that says a lot in itself.
You know what? I was really surprised that even though this already happened about a month ago with the Metrodome finally being destroyed or demolished, I'm surprised they never decided to want to have a WrestleMania in Minneapolis at the Metrodome one last time.
Well, the Metrodome was great in its day. I was against it in 1982 when they put it up, but I got to kind of like it, and it did make sense up in Minnesota when you're playing baseball in April and football in December. Why the hell would anybody want to sit out in the middle of the elements to watch a athletic event? The only problem with WrestleMania, the time of the year that it takes place, what are your chances of getting to Minneapolis?
Well, yeah, that's true, but it's still heated, it's still indoors, and it's, I think it would have been kind of nice, at least just one time to say, hey, we had a WrestleMania at the Metrodome, you know?
Well, we had a Final Four there, and a lot of playoff games, and a couple of rock concerts, so they did miss a WrestleMania, and that's gone forever.
Yeah, that's for sure. But I mean, it was just something that I wanted to bring up because since you and I are both Minnesota residents originally, I'm from northern Minnesota, and I know that you were from Minnesota as well, which is kind of cool. Minnesota.
You're from northern Minnesota. What town in northern Minnesota?
Greenbush.
Great Bush.
Yeah.
You've got to be kidding me. What street in Great Bush?
Oh, in Greenbush, yeah, it's a small town, so it's like it's right on. It's on the map.
No. Was it Walnut? Was it Maple? What street?
5th Street.
I never heard of it.
Yeah, I know. It's one. I mean, you heard of Lake of the Woods? Obviously, we were talking before about that.
Right, and Baudette.
Yeah, yes, and that's kind of cool that you actually still come up to that area.
Well, I do, and it is a little cooler than Florida in the summer, so it is kind of cool that I do go up there and enjoy it immensely. Got a lot of friends still up in Minnesota.
Now, in between your time as an announcer, you also got to participate in a lot of different things that the WWE has let you produce and stuff. We just launched the WWE Network over a month ago, and that's been pretty successful so far.
Yeah, I like the WWE Network. You know what it does? It gives access to a little older fan, let's say, 40s, 50s, and even maybe beyond, to take a look and reflect on some of the material from, a few decades ago. And just by my own observation, I got to tell you, a lot of it is still very good, exciting to watch. I watched the Battle Bowl '93 that I kind of hosted there with Fifi until Ric Flair absconded with her, that rat. But, I mean, there were a lot of good things that were done, and I think some of them were unintentional.
Yeah.
So, they were fun to do.
But I'm really actually excited. It makes it more worth it when the WWE was nice enough to include every pay-per-view from the past. I mean, that's amazing. That's like you're getting a hell of a deal when it comes to that stuff.
Well, I mean, at 10 times the price, it would be a steal. I've got to say this: for $10 a month and a 6-month commitment, that's $60. We can do the math on that. And you're getting WrestleMania. You're getting all of the pay-per-views, in addition to all of this archive material. I mean, there's stuff that's going back here 40 or 50 and some even 60 years.
Yeah, because I noticed they have like a WWE vintage collection, like a old school that they have, and then they have like a bunch of old programming. I like the Beyond the Ring feature because it features all the documentaries that they made and produced over the years that they're finally releasing on demand. Even though some of that stuff's available on Netflix, but they're like week by week they come up with a new superstar to reflect on.
Well, I think it's another access point for the WWE universe. I'd heard that the company had made a few $1 million off YouTube alone, but now they've got their own home, and I think it's going to make a big difference.
So when are we going to see a Mean Gene compilation at all? I know you...
Well, you know what? That's a good question, but I think you're going to see... I don't know if it's going to come in compilation form, but I think that you're going to see a lot of things that I participated in over the years because I was with the AWA. I was with the WWF. I was with WCW, and I am currently employed by WWE and having a ball doing it and working with a lot of guys that I worked with 20, 30, 40 years ago. Guys like Pat Patterson. And there's some fresh new guys that I didn't exactly work side by side by, but, Triple H, Hunter, is there, and I see Shawn Michaels. But I saw him over the weekend, Hulk Hogan and Jimmy Hart in Charlotte, North Carolina. They were on TV all over New York City yesterday, and I have an opportunity to see the Nature Boy Ric Flair, who's one of a kind, and he and I sit down and pound the bar a little bit every now and then.
So what do you think of the difference of what wrestling was like 30 years ago to how it is today and how it's changed?
Well, 30 years ago probably might be a stretch, because if we do go back to WrestleMania 1, all of the elements and factors that contributed to the success of that event, I guess, are omnipresent today. But if you go back 40 years ago, it was smoky National Guard armories, big fat wrestlers. I don't want to say Haystacks Calhoun or Farmer Marlin or Mad Mountain Dean, but I mean, those people were around. But then you had the Vern Gagnes, the Crushers, the Mad Dog Vachons, and later on the Red Basteens, Nick Bockwinkel's, and the Bobby Heenan family. And those old AWA days really kind of ring my bell. Very enjoyable working back in those days.
And then now it just changed so much, as it should. I mean, everybody probably knew that regardless of which company was going to be number one or whatever. It's kind of neat how it's evolved over the last decades.
Very neat, as a matter of fact. The only thing that disappoints me a little bit is the fact that the storylines are so vastly accelerated that if you miss one Monday Night Raw, you guys get an update somewhere. Call your attorney.
Or we call the Mean Gene hotline, and we'll find out the information.
Yeah, you know what? I've been having a little trouble getting my money out of that thing lately.
I remember on that last edition of the Old School Raw just recently, you were talking about the hotline, and it's like, man, I haven't heard that reference in a long time.
Well, you know what? And it was a good place to do it, Baltimore. I got a lot of great feeling in Baltimore. First Slammies I did there. We did a lot of television early on. And that in 1999 at the Baltimore Arena is the very stage that I introduced the winner of the Nitro Girl contest in Baltimore. You know who that winner was?
I don't remember. It's been a long time.
Well, she was one of the most popular Nitro Girls, but she transitioned into somebody else. Her name, and she was a Baltimore native, was Stacy Keebler.
Oh, yes.
Miss Hancock. And just a great gal. By the way, I believe she just got married.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, something to do with a shotgun. I have no idea, but it's just some speculation on my part. They did have a movie called Knocked Up, right?
Yeah, yep.
Yeah.
So, what do you think people are going to remember about Mean Gene Okerlund and the legacy that you've built for yourself?
Well, I don't know what they're going to remember. I hope they can forget a few of the bills that I've ran up around the country and around the world. No, just kidding. I think what they're going to remember is, I believe I gave everybody a fair shake until they stepped on my toes, and then I could be a little verbally combative. But it's a business that I've enjoyed. I still enjoy it immensely. And for the most part, the people have been very, very good to me. I'm starting to sound there like somebody else. That's another thought. Yeah. They've been very good to me. No, the fans have always been great. They were understanding. Saw a ton of them this weekend in Charlotte, North Carolina, with that big fan fest that features Hulk Hogan, Roddy Piper. Hey, there's your main event from WrestleMania 1.
There you go.
And a little guy that wears his shorts a little too tight. Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart. Boy, he squeaks.
Are you ever going to be a special guest on the WWE Network's Raw pre-show or backstage pass at all?
Well, I think that possibility always exists. I did some shows, I think, in the past that were groundbreaking. I think All American Wrestling was something. It was a magazine type of show, as was the latest one that I did back in the early 2000s called WWE Confidential.
Oh, yes.
And that, I thought, was a very compelling piece of journalism that covered exclusively wrestling and the wrestling superstars. Plus, I got to meet Trish Stratus a few times there. So,
yeah, I remember Confidential, and I remember too. Last year, I had the great opportunity, to talk to one of a person that you used to work with back in the WCW days, Mr. Lee Marshall. Do you guys ever communicate back and forth still?
Well, I don't. Lee owes me money, and so he's a little reluctant to call me. So I just really can't do anything, as far as having contact with the guy. It's just one of those deals.
Oh, okay.
A good man, though. He got a great voice.
Yeah, for being Tony the Tiger.
Right.
But I mean, it's just a thrill to be able to chat with you. We got a couple more questions I want to ask you real quick, and then we'll let you go. What do you think overall is going to be your favorite WrestleMania of all?
Well, I don't think you can really gauge them by favorite WrestleMania, because if you split it up, the way I see it, there are 4 eras, distinct eras. You know, the early days were the rock and wrestling, and we did WrestleMania at Madison Square Garden, then 3 locations for WrestleMania 2 in Long Island, Chicago, and L.A. WrestleMania 3 with 93,173, I counted them all, at the Silverdome in Pontiac, Michigan. WrestleManias 4 and 5 at Trump Plaza and the Convention Center in Atlantic City, and the list just goes on. WrestleMania 6, I believe, up in Toronto, and we went to Indy and Las Vegas, and maybe put on a toga. So, I mean, there's all kind of different eras here, and it kind of morphed into what it is today, a very elaborate mixture of athleticism, of angles, of storylines, and of mainstream entertainment. Last year at the MetLife Stadium in the New York City area, I thought it was just unbelievable. You know, kind of a cool day and night, 40-ish, but wow, what a show.
Yeah, that was...
It is the greatest show on earth, and I think that's what Vince wanted to do. Wanted to one-up Barnum and Bailey, and probably John Ringling.
So one last question I have for you, and it goes with the future of wrestling. What do you think the wrestling's going to be like 10 years from now?
Wow. As a visionary, I think the performers are going to become more athletic. You can see the flying that is down in the ring today compared to 40 or 50 years ago when I was a little mark sitting back in the Minneapolis auditorium watching some of these guys. They never made it 2 inches off the mat. But today, I mean, with all of the athletic young men, their diets, their physical condition, and certainly what they know today over, if you didn't work 30 years ago, you didn't get paid.
Oh, wow.
If you get hurt today, the company still takes care of you. So I think they've got the best of both worlds, and certainly their well-being is in their best interest by the company itself. Don't want anybody to get hurt, even though it does happen.
Yeah, it does. Well, I appreciate you let me interview you, me and you. This has been a definitely a rare treat, and I just want to say thank you personally because you have no idea how much of a big deal this is to me and my radio listeners here at Rapid City, South Dakota.
Well, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to come on into Rapid, then we're going to jump in a car or horse and buggy, whichever you prefer, and shoot up to Sturgis, have one there, and then stop in at the number 10 Saloon in Deadwood, South Dakota, and have a couple of bumps there. You know, we used to have a Mean Jeans Burgers in beautiful downtown Deadwood.
Oh, wow. I did not know that. I've seen some of the pictures on Google about Mean Jeans Burgers, but I didn't know much about that.
Well, they're now basically in college, universities, and military installations worldwide, and I'm still very proud to be associated with them.
Oh, that's cool. Well, thanks for letting me interview you, Gene. And anything else you want to say before we let you go?
You do have my address where you can send the check.
Yes. I'll make sure I get a loan from the bank, too.
Okay. And we'll see you at WrestleMania. It's going to be a big time. April 6th, New Orleans, Louisiana, at the Mercedes-Benz Super Bowl.
All right. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Gene. We appreciate it.
Work it. Back in touch.
All right. Bye. And that was the legendary Mean Gene Okerlund. And, man, I tell you, I don't know how the heck I pulled this one off, you know. If you were to ask me, I don't know. It's just one of those type of interviews that it just worked. All I did was send a request. Didn't even think that, you know, when you look at his Facebook page, you don't even think that it's actually, you know, he doesn't have a profile picture at all on Facebook. So it was a little leery for me to know if this was actually Mean Gene at all. But as you heard, it was. And I hope you guys enjoyed this. I really try very hard to try to get really good guests as much as I can. I don't know how big of guests I'm going to be getting in the future, but I always say that, and then something like this happens. So, and yes, if it works out this summer, I'm definitely going to be planning a bringing back the Frankie's Icons of Pop Culture series. If I'm still on K-Tech this summer, depending on how things go, I want to bring back that feature for the summertime, as I did last year when I was just doing it on YouTube, because that was a very popular series. And it's still kind of the series that's going on now, but since I'm on the radio, I'm just enjoying it more and having bigger opportunities than I ever had before. So that was Mean Gene Okerlund. He will be at WrestleMania 30 this Sunday. And hope you guys tune into WrestleMania. We're not supported by WWE at all. I'm just a big fan of that brand, and I always have been, because now that all the territories are gone, besides some of the independent territories that's still around, I used to love WCW back in the day, but it's not around no more. So you gotta, if there's one company to pick that a person should like, where you will get a variety of things, it should be WWE. As far as I'm concerned, and the WWE Network is great. I think you guys should go check it out. Not just because I tell you to, just because if you're a real fan of wrestling and you want to see something, you want to see all these great pay-per-views that some of them never ever came out to DVD or on demand. This is like the first time ever for every pay-per-view and every bit of WWE footage that you could possibly get for a span of what they're charging. So I think it's worth it. So if you can afford to go to a movie, or if you can afford to go out to a concert, well, then I don't think spending $10 a month on this service is a bad deal. So anyway, I want to say thank you to Mean Gene Okerlund, and hopefully we'll be able to talk again. I do have his number, so I can say that and be pretty witty about that, huh? I got his number. How many people can say that, huh? Anyway, we'll be right back with more great music here. We still got a jam-packed show to go here with the old Reb and Frankie Slauson here on the all-new Frankie Slauson show right here on K-Tech.
You want me to be in character?
If you want to.
Whatever you want, Frankie.
All right. Yeah, you can be in character. That'd be all right.
Okay. I think that's the voice your listeners will recognize, you know?
Yeah. Okay. Hey, everybody.
Right.
Welcome to another great edition of the Frankie Slauson Show. And today we got a huge guest. One of the most popular and iconic men to grace America, but also a guy who came from Canada, Mr. Red Green. How's it going, sir?
Well, if it was going any better, I'd be twins, Frankie.
Well, hey, I appreciate the fact that you were nice enough to grace us with your presence to do an interview, because you are coming to Rapid City here on Thursday.
Yeah, it's coming up real soon. I started this tour a few weeks ago in St. Petersburg, Florida, and we're halfway through it right now, and we end up in Anchorage on May the 15th, and then I'm done.
Yeah, which I think is so neat, the fact that that you decided to come to even start a tour after being retired since, 2006, since your show ended?
Yeah, you know, I thought I could retire, and what happened was that I just started saying things I was thinking just to my friends, and they found that was getting a bit annoying. So they needed a lot of people to help share the load. So they suggested I go on the road and share some of these thoughts with other people and give them a bit of a break. So that's what I did.
Okay. No, I just think it's just so neat because, you know, when you say, when you share the name Red Green with people, just about everybody knows who that is. And if they don't know, it's like they've been living under a rock for the last 20 years.
Well, I think especially true in the Midwest. You know, I think Midwestern Americans are kind of like Canadians, only more so. So I think we have an instant connection.
I'm originally from northern Minnesota. Originally, that's where I grew up, and I moved here to Rapid City here last summer. You just got done doing a show in Bemidji, and I'm sure they treated you like a god over there. Huh?
Oh my gosh, they've all been good, but Bemidji is kind of special. There one fellow showed up and he had made his own possum van. I mean, he'd driven it from North Dakota over to Bemidji. I mean, wow. You know, wow.
Yeah, I mean, that has to be kind of, because I know you, the show used to air on PBS as well as CBC, and that's how I kind of got introduced to the whole show concept. And now I see you're on YouTube.
Yeah, we got all the episodes. All 300 episodes are on YouTube, and we have a library there where you can go if you're looking for something in particular. You can look it up and see which show it's on, and then just watch that show. No, I think YouTube is a great thing because it gives us direct access, you know, to the people who want to see it. You don't have to go through a middleman like a television station or what have you. I think it's great.
Yeah, and it kind of saves a little bit of money for. So I noticed that the seasons are also available on DVD, and you know there's a low hefty price for most of the seasons, but I think it's just kind of neat that you were nice enough to let them go on YouTube so people could actually check you out, and maybe you still want to buy the box sets.
Well, don't forget, Frankie, you know, we never thought anybody would enjoy this show, so this is still a miracle to us. And if we got anybody that enjoys it even a little, we want them to be able to see it.
well, that's kind of neat because you for those of you who are new to Red Green or who never heard of him, you should go check out his YouTube page because the show definitely evolved from the very beginnings to where you probably were. I remember, I think in your press release they were saying something like you wanted to do the show as like a summer job at first, and then you never thought it would ever be as big as it ever became.
Oh, absolutely. You know, it was supposed to be a summer job in about 1990, and then away it went, and PBS picked it up. I always say, like, PBS is educational television, and the Red Green Show is recess. So that's the way we fit in.
And you added some great characters throughout the years, and do you still hang out with Harold here and there, or what's he been up to?
You know, I just heard from Harold last week. I mean, you know, I'm on the road, he's on the road, and you know, our paths don't cross a lot, but through email we kind of keep in touch. And I have a book out called The Beginner's Guide to Women. It's just been nominated for an award in Canada, and he was emailing me to say that he saw that in the paper. So everybody's doing fine. I mean, sadly we lost one character who passed away a couple of years ago, but otherwise I just keep in touch through email, and once in a while I bump into them. But you know, it was something that we all really enjoyed doing, and we did it for 15 years together, and then got on with our lives.
Oh, okay. As most of the people know you as Red Green, but you're also your name is Steve Smith, and you started your career really early. I think, what was it, with the Smith and Smith show, or am I wrong on that?
No, I'm switching over to Odd Steve Smith now, but since you're going to mention him.
Sure.
Yeah, you know, I started actually in music. I was in a band, and my wife was also in the band, and we kind of did that for a while, and then we started just the two of us performing, and that led to a pilot for a show called Smith and Smith, which was kind of like a Canadian Sonny and Cher, if anybody's old enough to remember that. And we did that for 8 or 9 years. And then the Red Green character was actually created inside that show as a little skit. And then when I was going to just carry on, my wife was retiring from TV to look after our kids and so on. That's when I decided to just see if I could expand Red Green into a half hour and like I say, do one season and then get on with something else that would actually make sense. But the things intervene. I mean, the show just, I'm not saying it's a big hit, but it caught on with enough people that it could survive. And also I think that most people thought that it would never work. So sometimes when they're shocked about any success, they kind of want to see how far it goes.
And that's kind of neat because, like I say, you it's almost like you're taking a gamble in a way because most people, that's kind of how shows kind of do. Sometimes they run too long, and then you think that is anybody even interested in what we got to do? But it seems like for the whole time that Red Green was on, that everybody enjoyed it from the start to the end.
Yeah, and I actually 2 years before the show ended, I asked the broadcast. Well, CBC was our broadcaster in Canada, and I said to them, I would like to do 2 more seasons, and then that's it. And they said that's great. They gave me a 2-year renewal, which was very unusual. And what it allowed me to do is to give everybody 2 years notice. It also allowed me to control, how the show would end. I did not want to go that extra year that most shows go. They do it for the money, and the show usually sucks, and then everybody has that memory. And they enjoyed the show for 5 years, and then that 6th year was so awful that that's all they remember. I didn't want that experience. I wanted it to end it while we were still doing our best work.
And did you help write a lot of the material?
Oh yeah, I'm primarily a writer. I was a head writer on the show. I'm doing these one-man shows now. I've been doing for a few years, and I'm the only writer on those. So yeah, I have a way of looking at the world that's a little bit odd. It's been a delight for me to find out other people kind of share that sense of humor, but that's the driving force. That's why I couldn't stay retired, because I just kept generating new stuff anyway, so I might as well get out there and use it.
Oh, sure. Well, we have a couple questions. I posted this on my Facebook page last night because I wanted to get some of my viewers involved in the conversation here today. A couple questions. One is from a guy named Ian Thorpe, and he asked, all the projects you did on the show, especially during Handyman Corner, what was your most favorite? It's like asking me which kid do I like better. It's a tough one. There's some great memories there. I mean, we did some stuff on the water that was unbelievable, and I remember making a backhoe out of a Cadillac. In the final show, I did a perpetual motion machine, which was very appealing to me because that would be the ultimate Red Green project. In fact, when I do the one-man shows, before, like 15 minutes before the show starts, they run a little compressed version of the last episode, and that segment is in it. But, when we did those Handyman Corners, we were like a bunch of 8-year-old kids just goofing around in the backyard, but we had a little bit of money to do something, and we had guys who kind of knew how to weld and make cars go and stuff. So it was really like fantasy for me. I mean, there's very few of them that I didn't enjoy, and this will shock the guy too. Most of those things worked, and they worked a little bit for a little while, but they did work. Oh yeah, it seemed like that too, because I kind of felt bad for the possum van. It seemed like it definitely got beat up, and well, really not really beat up, but just it really got used a lot through the segments.
Absolutely. Actually, there were 5 possum vans, so they got to share the abuse.
Oh, that's pretty cool. And then one last question for the fans anyway. Pretty much this is from my uncle Terry, who tunes into my show. He pretty much just asked, "Are you ever going to stop being Red Green?" And please say no.
No, you know what? I can't, because Red Green is not an add-on for me. Red Green is inside me. I mean, obviously there are parts of me that's not Red Green, but all of Red Green is in there somewhere. I created the characters. It wasn't stuck on me, and he's my best friend because he gives me a way of saying and doing things that I otherwise would never get a chance to say and do.
Yeah, one of the questions that I had is kind of is about some of the sayings that Red Green says, like "keep your stick on the ice," or if the women don't find you handy, at least they'll find you handsome. Or no, if they don't find you handsome,
the other way around.
Yeah, if the women don't find you handsome, then at least they find you handy. Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
I screwed that up. I'm sorry. I apologize.
That's all right.
I'll admit, I'm a little starstruck because even though I didn't get a chance to do a face-to-face with you on Thursday, but I'm still kind of excited the fact that I get to chat with you. This is bigger than you think. I mean, you're the iconic character of Red Green coming to Rapid City. They've been advertising it here for quite a while, ever since you were booked. And have you been treated pretty well everywhere you've gone, even in places that probably aren't familiar with your work?
Well, I don't go to places that aren't familiar with my work because we won't sell any tickets. Probably there's a couple of reasons why I really enjoy the live performing. To be honest with you, I enjoy it more than the television. First of all, it's just way more personal. It's just I'm not talking to Harold. I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you in the audience there. And secondly, because of the nature of a live performance where you got to make an effort, you got to spend some money to buy a ticket, and then you got to get off the lazy boy and get into the car and drive over to the place. I'm eliminating all the people that are ambivalent about me. If you don't care about Red Green, you're not going to buy a ticket. You're not going to go. So the people that are there really want to be there, and it's just such a great atmosphere for me to work in. It's just and every one. I've done 16 shows. I got 17th tonight, but every one of them's been like that. It's just like a bunch of friends getting together. You can't beat that.
And how did the idea start that you wanted to, other than just because you were retired, how did you get the idea to say, hey, I'm going to do a one-man show?
Well, what happened was the president of a publishing company in Canada, Random House is called, it's actually an international company anyway, he said to me that if I wanted to write a book in the Red Green character, they would publish anything I wanted to write. So I thought, well, that's pretty neat, and if I say no, he'll never ask me again. So I wrote a book. It was called How to Do Everything. And then when you write a book, you have to go and promote it. Well, I'm not a big fan of book tours. You go to some store somewhere and you sell 6 books. I'd say to them, I'll buy 7 books not to go. So I said, rather than do a book tour, why don't I see if I can do a one-man show thing? And so that it was really the book was a start, and the one-man show was to help promote the book. And the other factor I really should mention, I'm not very good at going back and doing something that I've done before. So I always like to move forward. I never did theater or stand-up or anything as a young man. This is not me going back and doing something that I was doing when I was 23. I've never done this before, and so that makes it feel fresh and new and interesting for me.
Oh, that's exciting, and I think for those of you who haven't, for those of you who live in Rapid City here, I think that know Red Green, I think it should be an exciting show, and I think Marlene's going to hook the station up with a couple of tickets, so I definitely want to go, and I think it'll be nice just the fact that you can say this, if after maybe a few years from now down the road, when you're really ready to retire. It'll just be kind of a feather in the cap. It's almost like one last hurrah. Even though you still got many years left, you can always do this again. But it's like a feather in the cap for you. It's like the rebirth of Red Green, live and in person.
Yeah, I agree with you. And to be honest with you, Frankie, this has been the most enjoyable part of my career. I've never had as much fun. I don't need to be doing this. I'm doing it because I want to do it. And if the people come to the show, I think they'll enjoy themselves, but they won't see a guy up there who resents what he's doing or is just kind of going through the motion. I'm the happiest guy in the room.
Oh, well, that's awesome. You seem like you're the man of the people, and I think that's kind of great. We should have Red Green or Steve Smith as president of the U.S. I think maybe things would get back. things would be a lot more interesting.
Well, there's a job I definitely would turn down.
But couple more questions for you before I let you go, and basically one as you yourself, Steve Smith, and the other as Red Green. As Steve Smith, what do you got to say to your fans as a way of just saying thank you?
Well, I mean, my fans, my fan base, everything is a miracle. People don't know this, but after the second season of Red Green, the show was canceled. The station had some financial problems. They just couldn't keep it going. And I've been working television a long time. Shows get canceled. That's just normal. Well, what happened was the fans started writing letters. I was getting 1,000 letters a day saying things like, do whatever you got to do. You got to keep this show on the air. And so at that point, I changed, and this show became not a show that I was doing. It was a show that the fans were doing through me. So that's how important the fans are. If there were no fans for the Red Green show, I guarantee you that show would never have survived its second season. It would never have gone 15 seasons. So I don't know how you can get more important than that.
And as Red Green, any final words to the audience?
Well, I would say that apathy is your best friend. When people don't care about what you're doing, you're allowed to do anything. So don't get all upset if people don't pay attention to you. Sometimes a little attention is a real bad thing. And other than that, enjoy life, and most of all, keep your stick on the ice.
Hey, well, I appreciate this interview, Red and Steve, and I really want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. This is a feather in my cap, but to me, it's a big deal to talk to somebody like you.
Well, thanks, Frankie, and all the best to you in the future.
All right, we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye now.
And that was the legendary and iconic Steve Smith, a.k.a. Mr. Red Green, and I hope you guys enjoyed that interview. I mean, this was like, I mean, this is big time, as far as I'm concerned. Another feather in the cap, as big as talking to me and Gene Okerlund and John Barry and a few of those that have been very iconic people that a lot of people know. Well, this is Red Green, Red freaking Green, and he's coming to Rapid City, South Dakota, at the Rushmore Plaza Civic Center this week. Just coming Thursday night. So hopefully you guys tune in. And this interview will probably air on my Wednesday show, and then we're going to air it on Friday night as well, just to give you guys kind of a repeat of it. But I do appreciate it, and thanks to Marlene for setting this up, and thanks to the Civic Center for hooking me up, and we appreciate it. We'll be right back with some more Frankie Slauson show with me, with Frankie, and the old Reb. We'll be right back.
You got it, man. Just, you start running with the ball, and we'll just start playing.
Oh, hey, sounds great. Hey, welcome to another great edition of the Frankie Slauson Show right here on K-Tech, and also here on YouTube as well. I'm your host, Frankie Slauson, and today we got, as you know, we've been doing lots of interviews as of late with a lot of different iconic people that are iconic in pop culture. And today I got a guy who is well known. If you don't know this guy, then I don't know where the hell you guys have been. Especially for you younger people out there who like Justin Bieber and all that stuff, I have with me a legendary man known as Greg Kihn from the Greg Kihn Band. How's it going, Greg?
Frankie, it's a pleasure to be here, and let me just say I'm looking forward to, just chewing the fat with you, man. Anything you want to talk about, it's okay with me.
Hey, it sounds great. I like how you're kind of a cool, calm, and collective person.
Well, you know what? I've been through the ringer a couple of times. There's nothing left. There's no fight left in me. I'm always going for the, what do they call that? The path of least resistance.
Oh, okay. Well, that's okay.
I tell you, I've been beat up by pros for, most of my adult life. And you get to the point where you get a pretty thick skin about it. And let's face it, man, in this world, I was blessed to have this job. So whatever happens is okay with me.
Oh, I
mean, I don't have any attitude about it. I'm happy for what we did. I'm just, I'm thankful that I got my chance.
And that's kind of what it's all about, just kind of getting a chance, an opportunity to show what you can what it is that you're to show your talent, and you definitely did that throughout your musical career. And kind of to start off the interview, what kind of got you started? For those that don't know, what got you started with music in the first place?
Well, actually, I always was into music. I found a guitar out in the alley behind my mother's house in Baltimore when I was about 13. And I fixed it with, had a cracked neck, so I glued it and tried to screw it back together again. And my mother felt sorry for me. She took me down to a place that repaired guitars, but it was hopeless. So she took me to a pawn shop. I bought my first guitar. It was a $40 guitar, a Harmony. I remember a Harmony. And it had F-holes. This thing was old. In the olden days, it was old. It was insane. And get this. My mother had asked around, like all the people in the family, like, where's the best place to get a guitar? To get, a good deal, because we didn't have a lot of money. And my Uncle James said, you got to go down to the pawn shop. That's where it's at. You got to go to the pawn shop. They got everything at the pawn shop. It happened that the pawn shop was on Baltimore Street, which is known in Baltimore as the Block. And it's all strip clubs and bars and peep shows. And I'm telling you, it was Times Square in the 40s. And my mother dragging me down, and I'm like, my eyes were bugging out. We're walking past. There's Blaze Starr in the doorway to her nightclub with their titties hanging out. Going, hey, little boy, come on in here. Let your mama let you in here. And I'm like, whoa. My eyes were bugged out. I was freaking out. Finally, we got to the end of the block. She pulls me into the pawn shop, which we had to run the gauntlet of sex clubs to get to the pawn shop. I'll never forget, my mother was like a woman of iron. She had a grip on my arm, and she was moving as fast as I had ever seen her move. Like a battleship. Oh, jeez. Anyway, so we go in the pawn shop, and the guy sells me, I remember to this day, $40 was my first guitar. And the rest is history. It was a lot of fun, too. And the walk back, by the way, was incredible as well.
I'm sure.
I mean, in those days, they had pictures of the strippers. And these were like 50s and 60s strippers, right? These were like Tempest Storm and Blaze Starr, and all these, iconic Betty Page-style women. And they had these big blown-up pictures of them, in the window, in the storefronts. You could drag a 13-year-old kid down that street. My eyes are going,
Oh, I can only imagine. I mean, seeing what you got to see as a young man. I mean, yeah, most of the kids nowadays don't know what a good time is if it fell right in their face, I would say.
Hey, back in the day, and once you have your first guitar, it's over, man. You're moving. It's like whatever, you just got on the bus, and everybody else is already on the bus,
Yeah, that's for sure. Well, my co-host just got back from his other job, and he's just joining us here. He just got home. His name is Old Reb, and say hi to Greg Kinn there, Old Reb.
Hey, Greg. I'm a fan of yours, buddy, and you know what?
Thank you.
I can't believe you're
Thank
still
you.
rocking, Greg.
Should I call you Reb?
Yeah, you can call me Reb if you like.
All right.
Yeah.
Great to meet you, man, and thanks for being a fan.
You bet.
Yeah, and when I told Reb that I was going to be doing this interview with you, see, he and I, we do a radio show together. We do two shows together.
Yeah.
We do my show, which is the Frankie Slauson Show, on Friday nights from 10 p.m. to 1 a.m., just to get that plug out there, of course. and then we do his show on Sunday mornings from 9 a.m. to noon, called the Reb Ryder Show. So it's almost similar to each other, but we what we try to do is we try to bring back the good old days of radio. And I know for a fact that you were a radio host, too, for a time being.
Oh, yeah. I was 17 years as the morning guy on K-Fox Radio in the Bay Area here. And that was, about 15 years in San Jose and a couple of years in San Francisco when they moved us up there. But hey, that was quite an experience, man. Getting up at 4 a.m. for 17 years. What's it been, a year and a half since I got fired? I still am sleeping until after 10 o'clock every damn day.
Well, that's better than losing on Jeopardy, right?
I'm still trying to catch up on sleep that I lost, 15 years ago.
Yeah. But I'm sure it's kind of cool to say that, other than just being a musician, that you got to be a radio host too, because, that I think, being in radio, and anybody that's been involved in radio, I think it's just a neat thing, and we need to keep that going.
Oh, yeah. Either that or, you're just one of those guys. Remember that Jamaican guy who's got 27 jobs? I got so many jobs, man. I also do your wash, too, man.
Yeah.
Anyway, after my radio show ended, which was the first of the year, in a year and a half, okay? So I had gone out. The first thing I did was write a book. What do? You write a book. I wrote a novel called Rubber Soul, it's my 5th book, actually. And it came out. It got really great reviews. In fact, if you go over to Amazon and read them, it's just fabulous. So I just finished, and that was from Premier Digital Publishing. That's the name of the publishing company. PDP, they shortened for PDP. Anyway, PDP signed me for the next book, which is the sequel to Rubber Soul. It's called Painted Black, and it's about the death of Brian Jones. Huh. So I'm working on the I'm working on the one and working on the other one too. So after that one came out, PDP was bought. This is what happens in life. They were swallowed up by a bigger fish called Open Road Publishing, and they got a lot more money and they're a lot bigger, and they bought them and their whole catalog, including me. So now my new book's going to be coming out still in September, but it's going to be on Open Road Publishing, and it should be everywhere that books are sold. And, of course, you can get it on Amazon or GregKIHN.com. By the way, your source for all things Greg Kinn is GregKIHN.com. You want to know something? You want to know how many pimples I got? Go over there. I think they got them listed.
Hey, Greg, would you like to hear a story how I got to be your fan?
Okay, I'd like to hear that.
I'm going down the road on a motorcycle, and I got a stereo system, and I hear the breakup song, and I get back to the house, and I tell the guy, get me everything on this Greg Kinn guy. Everything. I want tapes, whatever, and then when I got all the music, I'd jump back on the motorcycle and go down the road rocking out to you. So that's how that happened.
You know what? It's good motorcycle music because it's like one man, one song, one guy, one helmet, one world. You know?
Exactly.
Yeah. And I got a lot of biker friends, and we've always been a favorite in the biker community. And it's a lot of it is, like who we used to hang out with the Doobie Brothers. And we did a lot of gigs opening for the Doobies. And, the Doobies got a huge thing going with the bikers.
Right.
And kind of like, it's kind of like the Deadheads. You just become part of that scene after all these years. I mean, geez, I remember opening for the Dead back in 1978. You dig that? I must have been 12 years old, man.
Jeez.
I remember, dig this, they had backstage. This was at Spartan Stadium, so the backstage area was this huge Moroccan tent. Like something out of Scheherazade, something out of Ali-Baba and the 40 Thieves. Huge Moroccan, all these big pillows on the floor, and Phil Lesh says, "Hey, Greg, come on in for a minute. Come on, say hi to the guys," because I knew them all. So I popped in there. The whole band is sitting around on the floor, around in these big pillows, smoking on this hookah. And I swear to God, this sucker was like 6 feet tall and had a bowl in it the size of, your grandma's, coffee mug. I mean, it was huge. And it had about 5 or 6 stems coming off of it. And everybody's like, puffing away on this thing. And the first thing they said, sit down. Boom, I sat down. And Garcia's next to me. First thing Garcia, he says, take this and suck on it. And I started smoking that ash, man. And look, my guys are from Berkeley. We thought we could hang with the big boys. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
Nothing that we could do. I mean, it pales next to the dead. Those guys, I got so whacked, and this is one of the few times this has ever happened to me in my entire life. I got too stoned to play. When they came up and they said 5 minutes, Mr. King, I said, well, what do you mean 5 minutes to what? 5 minutes before you go on, you idiot. Now get going.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I stood up, man. I was like wobbly. We go out there, and the first, I didn't know what to do. I was just too wrecked. So I think we did our two big hits right out of the box. I think it was Breakup Song and something else. Our two hits of the day. Got no reaction. We do a 20-minute jam version of Johnny Be Good, and we got a standing ovation. Now, you go figure. The message was, forget your hits, just jam, and here, have another puff while you're at it.
Yeah, that's definitely an interesting story that you can tell the grandkids, that's for sure.
Yeah. You know what? I got to write a book just about my experiences, backstage experiences. I got a million great stories.
Oh, I'm sure.
There's a lot of stuff. You go on the road for 20 years, shit happens. What can I say?
Yeah, that's for sure. Before we started this interview, you said that you've been to Rapid City before. Was it that? Do you remember what venue it was that you played at here?
I remember that we played at an outdoor festival, and I remember there was 3 or 4 bands on the bill, and I remember maybe one of the bands might have been Blue Oyster Cult, and I'm thinking maybe one of the other bands might have been Blondie.
Okay.
And it was like in an outdoor venue. Does that ring a bell?
Well, I've only been to Rapid City here for a short time. Reb's been around South Dakota for a little longer than I have.
Boy, I'm not thinking what that would be, Greg, but maybe it was, did it have something to do maybe with the Sturgis Motorcycle Rally or no?
Yeah, might have been.
Been a long time, he said.
The whole thing, guys. I don't know.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's been a long time. That's why, because
at this point in life, I can't tell whether it's true or I dreamed it.
Well, that almost sounds like the Buffalo Chip.
I quit smoking about 8-10 years ago. I quit smoking cigarettes, and I was so guilty about it that I used to dream that I smoked. And then I wake up in the middle of the night and I felt guilty. Like, did I just smoke? Did I? I had to smell my breath. Did I just sleepwalk and just smoke a cigarette? But no, it was just the power of dreams.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty exciting. No, we don't expect you to know every story. I mean, but I'm pretty sure you did play here because you were talking about Mount Rushmore and the gift shop.
One of the great gift shops of all time. Now, back in the day, back in the 80s, when I was on the road, I was an aficionado of great gift shops. We used to go to the gift shop wherever we were at. Me and the whole band to go. And we loved gift shops. And I'll tell you that Mount Rushmore is a great one. You know what the best one is? Is Cooperstown Baseball Hall of Fame gift shop. Woo! That is a beauty. Let's see. Oh, you know what else? The great Graceland. Across the street from Graceland, Elvis's house,
yeah. There's
like a shopping center with everything Elvis. I mean, it's like a whole block, a huge building the size of a Macy's, and it's all Elvis stuff. It was unbelievable. I didn't know you could spend $1,000 in a gift shop until I went there. I bought Elvis clocks, wall clocks, you know what I mean? Elvis tapestries, Elvis hangings, Elvis everything. It was insane.
You must have been a really huge fan of Elvis then, huh?
Oh, yeah. Back in the day, we got the tour of Graceland. It was pretty cool. Wherever we go, I'm very cognizant of rock and roll history. We always like to pay our respects like we were in Memphis. And you definitely want to go to see Graceland, pay your respects to Elvis, see his grave. But you got to go to Sun Records and see the Sun Records studio on South Union Avenue. It's unbelievable. It's like when you go to Chicago and you go to Chess Records at 2120 South Michigan Avenue, and you realize everybody from the Stones to Bo Diddley, Chuck Berry, all of that stuff was recorded in that room. So there's a lot of rock history all around us.
So as a musician and with the career that you've had, what do you think of the music of today? And are you a big fan of a lot of the music of today?
Well, I'll tell you, I'm trying to like it, man. I really am trying to like it. But it's not that easy. First of all, nobody seems to be writing really good songs. Like, I'm always on the lookout for a good song. You know, the kind of song gets in your head.
Yeah.
Singing it in the shower and all that kind of stuff. Seems like all the songs in my day used to do that. They'd stay with you. A lot of the songs now are just that one, they'll get a hook, but they won't develop the song. They'll just beat you to death with the hook. And I just feel like it's a period of rock and roll right now. Because, it's like cyclical. It's cyclical. Yes, there we go.
There we go.
It goes around. That's what I mean. It goes round and around. Eventually, everything's going to come back to where it was, back to the basics.
Yeah,
but right now you're
back
in one of
to
those
the breakup song.
What's that?
Back to the breakup song in that era. That was good rock and roll.
Well, hey, we went in there. We did that in 2 takes. That's the way. That's the way that you got to record rock and roll with that kind of attitude.
Yep.
Of course, that was recorded back in analog on a 16-track machine. We recorded that song at Fantasy Studios in Berkeley in the same room where Creedence made all those great records, like Born on the Bayou,
wow,
Green River,
that's
and all
awesome.
that stuff, Proud Mary. It was all recorded in Studio C at Fantasy Studios, and that's the same room that we did the breakup song in. Ironically, it's got a little bit of a Creedence groove to it. Have you noticed that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I could definitely tell that. Definitely.
I do, too.
Yeah, and you know what the cool thing about that studio was? You didn't have to go through the reception area to get to it. It was in the corner of the building, and it had a door right to the outside, right to the street. So you could just step in and out, go out and have a smoke or whatever. You didn't have to go through the front and go by the receptionist and sign in and sign out and all that stuff. It was way cooler. It was a rock and roll way to make records,
So, like, when you first scored with your first hit, which was it the breakup song that was your first hit?
Well, actually, I'll tell you, that was our 7th album, believe it or not.
Yeah.
We had some hits earlier, but they weren't like top 40. We had, for instance, I believe that the first single that I had that got to the top 100 was For You, which was the cover of the Bruce Springsteen song. It was a picture sleeve single. And, that got a lot of airplay, and a lot of people dug it. It was the earliest known Springsteen cover. And Bruce started doing my version of For You live around the country and saying, I'm going to do the Great Ken version. And he did my version live, and it blew my mind. And it was like, suddenly, my stock went up as a result. And then he gave me Rendezvous, which he said he was going to give to the Knack, but for some reason he didn't. He gave it to me, and the rest is history. So we had a nice relationship. Although the last time I jammed with Bruce was at a place called the Playpen in New Jersey. It was about 6 years ago. We had a jam session with Elliot Murphy and a whole bunch of guys. It was a songwriters jam session, and they made a bootleg out of it called Live at the Playpen, and you can buy it out there. You can actually hear me jamming with Bruce Springsteen. Unbelievable, but true.
So what was your, from what you can remember, what was your first real taste of success when you were starting to get known?
I remember we started playing clubs, and then after a while we started getting airplay, and we were getting media attention and lots of articles, and we were touring all the time. Because in those days you could tour with FM airplay. You didn't necessarily have to have a hit single. You could just go into Akron and play the local club because the station was playing stuff off the album. So we did that for a long time. But I remember playing a club in San Jose, California, right down the road here, called the Odyssey Room, which was a big deal because it was a big club back in those days. And I remember our dressing room was right outside the women's bathroom, okay?
Yeah.
So you could hear what they were saying inside the women's bathroom in our dressing room, just because of the way the acoustics were, right? So I hear these chicks talking. It's like halftime, right? And we're back there. I guess we were doing blow or whatever we used to do, smoking a joint, chugging beers, who knows. We were busy doing what we did. And we hear these chicks talking, and I hear one says to the other one, she says, "Do you think Greg Kim is his real name?" And the other chick says, "Is whose real name?" That's when I knew that I had arrived.
Oh, wow.
It's
yeah.
Like when Weird Al does a parody of your song, you've arrived.
Oh, yeah.
It's okay. You go into history books. You're there. So, we had a lot of great stuff. We were on Saturday Night Live. We opened for the Rolling Stones on a West Coast tour. We had a #1 record. We toured the world, went all over, played in Paris and everything. So I look back on it. It was just a great ride, man. I can't imagine that I pulled all this crap off. How did I do it? Everybody in the beginning, everybody said, "Oh, it's impossible. You'll never get a record deal," and we got a record deal. "Oh, you guys will never have a hit record," and we had a hit record. "Oh, you guys will never have another one," and we had a couple of them. "Oh, you'll never write a book," and I wrote a book. "Yeah, you'll never get that published," and I got it published. "Yeah, you'll never get a radio job," so I got a radio job. "Hey, you'll never be a morning guy." All my life, people have been telling me why you can't do stuff. And I'm telling you right now, from my experiences, there's no reason. You can do anything. Don't worry about how hard it is. That's my advice, buddy. Here we go into the advice column right here.
Sure.
Great Ken's advice to young whippersnappers. Well, you kids, I just want you to understand that, what I'm saying here is you got to do it because you love it. You got to do it because it's in your soul. You don't do it for the money. You don't do it for the recognition. If you're going to be an artist, don't worry about, when I started writing books, it was real hard. And people told me, "You got to go to college, and you got to do this, and I said, no, I'm just going to do it." And I was stupid enough and naive enough to believe that I could do it. So when I say you're stupid good, that's a good thing. That means that you just don't realize that you could fail. You know what I mean? You just only think in positive terms. And, hey, look, nothing's impossible. And these are, learning how to play a guitar and write a song, that's a craft. You can learn a craft.
Yeah.
Writing books is a craft. Being on the radio is a craft. You can learn these things. And I spent an entire lifetime in rock and roll in one form or another, either playing it or playing it on the radio or talking about it. But, like the guy on Saturday Night Live, rock and roll been very, very good to me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I really do appreciate you taking the time to talk with us and let us ask you some questions. Do you have any more questions at all there, Reb, for Greg?
Well, you know what? I'd love to get up in your neck of the woods and play a live gig. The band, I put the band together. My son is now the lead guitar player, and the band is hotter than it's ever been. You know, Dave Dams has been with me 20 years on drums. Got Robert Berry on bass. Got a Dave Med from the Tubes on keyboards.
Jeez.
We got a really good band right now. We got a whole bunch of gigs coming up this summer, and I'd love to get up in your neck of the woods. If there's a promoter up there, you know, look us up. We'd love to play. We're going to be out and about all summer long, and that's going to be the key word for the summer. Get out and rock and roll, have some fun.
I think we could probably talk to the Civic Center. We got an event center here in Rapid City called the Rushmore, I think it's the Rushmore Plaza Civic Center, and that's where all the indoor events are held anyway.
Excellent. Yeah, I'm wide open, and plus I got to tell you, there's a lot of acts that are out there right now touring. Old friends of ours, guys that we've known forever, like Cheap Trick is out there. Aerosmith is out there. You know, there's a ton of bands going to be out there. Steve Miller's out there. Journey's out there. It's going to be a good summer for rock and roll. Hopefully, we'll get some of that coming to your town.
Yeah, and if we ever are able to make that happen, it'd be great to meet you. You seem like a pretty down-to-earth guy.
Yeah, listen, man, I've been blessed to have a great career, and you know, listen, they're but for fortune. I could have wound up the guy sweeping up the station. That could have been me, too. But there but for fortune goes you and I, my friend.
All right, Greg. Well, thanks again for letting me do this interview with you. Reb, you got anything else to say?
Well, it's just been an honor, Greg, to
Hey, thank you, guys. And you know what? I really appreciate talking to true believers like yourselves, you know, and what can I say? That's it. Keep an eye out for the Greg Kinn Band. Go over to GregKinn.com, and everybody's happy.
Exactly, and that's what we want people to be. We want people to be happy. The world's too, you know, you turn on the news, there's always something bad, negative on there. We gotta get people happy again.
I hear you, man. I hear you. And then you go like, what's today's bad news? Hey, today's bad news is there's no bad news.
Unless you're David Sterling, but that's or Donald Sterling. That's a different story.
It's a beautiful thing.
That's right.
All right, you guys. I'll see you down the line. Thanks for interviewing me. I appreciate being on the show. Let's do it again. You know, the book's coming out in September.
Okay.
Maybe we could do something in the fall. Just hook up. We'll bump up the book a little bit.
Yeah, that'd be great. It'd be great to have you as a guest
my
again.
email, so hang on to that, and we'll try to stay in touch.
Hey, Greg, if you ever do the Sturgis Motorcycle Rally, my house is open to you, my friend.
Really? Are you in town?
Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. Well, you know, my buddies in Cheap Trick, they keep telling me, you got to come down, man. You got to come down. It's unbelievable. I think they played there with Aerosmith last year.
Oh, awesome. All right, Greg. Well, thanks again for letting us do the interview. We appreciate it.
All right, bro. Thanks a lot, you guys, and take care of yourselves.
You too, man. And that was Greg Kinn from the Greg Kinn Band. What do you think there, Rev, after doing this awesome interview? First time ever together.
I ran a little late, so I come in second hand on it, but by God, I'll tell you what, that's awesome. That's just an awesome interview. And he's one of us.
Yeah.
He's one of us.
Oh, definitely is.
Yep, he's a down-to-earth fella.
And basically, for all you guys who want to know, well, that was Greg Kinn, you know, the Greg Kinn Band, and check out his music. He's not just a one-hit wonder. A lot of people like to label him as a one-hit wonder, but no, he's done a lot with music.
He's versatile, and when we get down the pike here a little bit, we're going to play a little of his music.
Exactly.
Yep.
But anyway, we'll be right back with some more great music from Rev and I here on whatever show we play this on. We have no idea.
Well,
but
one thing about it, it's a Frankie Slauson production.
That's right. All right, we'll be right back after this quick commercial break on K-Tech.
There are some stations that play great top 40, but who wants to listen to the same old tunes every day? Tonight you get something new, something fresh, something that will change your way of life. Tonight you get The Frankie Slauson Show. On The Frankie Slauson Show, you'll hear great rare and lost songs from the 50s through today, plus iconic celebrity interviews and much, much more. So get ready, Rapid City, for The Frankie Slauson Show. The Frankie Slauson Show has arrived on your airwaves, and now the School of Mines in Rapid City, South Dakota, KTEQ 91.3 FM, and Frankie Slauson Productions present The Frankie Slauson Show.
I've been trying to get my bosses to make the show 24 hours long since day one.
Sounds great.
All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another great edition of the Frankie Slauson Show right here on ktech.org, ktq.org, and YouTube. And today I have a very special guest with me today. If you're familiar with the Diary of a Wimpy Kid book series and the film series, well, I got a man who created that series, Mr. Jeff Kinney. Welcome to the show, Jeff.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's quite the honor to be able to talk to you because you're such a big name in the book industry and maybe even the film industry as well after the success of all three of the films, and I'm just surprised that we actually could do this today.
Well, thank you very much. I'm honored to be here.
And then what is the true I don't know. I guess the question would be, what is your truly key to success when it comes to the book series?
I think that I've created a character that kids relate to. You know, the kid, Greg Heffley, is not a heroic. He's he is very flawed, and he doesn't always do the right thing. And I think a lot of kids can relate to that. Most children in children's literature, most heroic children are like miniature adults. So I think that kids don't often see themselves in the characters as they're brave and they overcome the obstacles. You know, a lot of kids are much more like Greg Heffley,
sure.
the Wimpy Kid.
Yeah, and I think too. Do you think that this book series kind of helps with because I think bullying is kind of a big thing nowadays, probably more than it ever was. Do you think it kind of helps with that kind of, in a way? I'm not
sure. I certainly didn't write my books to address any real social concerns. But I've seen the book get out to other countries. I've seen that, for example, in Italy. These books are seen as sort of an answer to bullying somehow. So I think that the books have an effect that I'm not completely aware of, and depending on who's reading them.
Oh, okay. And how did you get started with the whole thought of writing your first Diary of a Wimpy Kid book?
Well, I had actually wanted to be a newspaper cartoonist, but that didn't work out for me. So I went in a different direction, and I tried something really kind of unexpected, which was to put cartoons into book format. And so I was lucky enough that it worked out for me.
Yeah, and it seems like it definitely did, because a lot of people are familiar with your work. I mean, especially more nowadays than ever before. I think personally what helped it was actually when you finally decided to put the books on film, so to speak, and I'm a huge fan of the film series because I'm just a movie buff as it is anyway, and I think once the films came out, that really got the doors open for you. I that's what I believe anyway.
Sure. Yeah, I think you might be right. I think it exposed a lot of people to the books that might have been exposed otherwise. So I'm grateful for the exposure that the movies caused.
Do you feel that the films are almost like similar to the books, or are the books a little bit different than the films?
I think it really is. They're different in some ways and similar in others. I think that they capture, the movies definitely capture the spirit of what I was going for. So that was important to me. You know, I was really involved, much more so than an author normally is. So I got to have a really neat experience with the films, and I got to make friendships that I think will be lasting friendships.
Oh, wow. And do you see a fourth film coming up in the series at all, or are we kind of done with the film series now?
Yeah, I think we're done with the film series because the kids have aged out of the roles. But I'm moving into animated holiday specials, so that's what I'm most interested in right now.
Okay. Something getting ready for the holidays, or something for people to get ready for the holidays.
Yes.
Oh, that's cool. And now you're releasing your 8th book in the series called Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Hard Luck. How is this different from the past 7 books?
It's in many ways it's the same. I'm really trying to not change things up too much in Greg Heffley's life. I'm trying to give kids laughs like they have expected. But it's it's new territory for me comedically. I'm having fun having Greg be a bit of a loner and having him be a more sympathetic character than he's been in the past. So in those ways, it is different.
Okay. And what's kind of the premise of the story? Kind of like if you could give some.
Sure. Yeah, the premise of the story is that Greg is on his own for the first time. For the first time, he's without his best friend Raleigh Jefferson, and he has to make his own decisions, and he finds it to be kind of difficult. He ends up having to turn his life over to fate, and that's where most of the comedy comes from in this book.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and I tell you, when you do these books, you keep it with the theme of kind of the same animation, on the cover, and kind of the same format almost, like, because I remember hearing in other interviews that you kind of wanted to keep Greg Heffley like still kind of like you don't want him to age. You want him to still stay in like the same character or like the same grade or something like that. Like he never passes or something like that. Is that true? Or?
Yeah, that's correct. I want him to be a middle school student forever.
Yeah. But that would actually make a lot of sense because as the characters in the film, obviously, like you said, have age and stuff. But it's just nice that it's like what they did. It's like what they did with Garfield. I mean, Garfield's been around forever. Jim Davis, pretty much made him the lazy cat that hates Mondays and that likes to attack Odie and everything, and he's been doing that for a long time anyway.
Yeah, in cartoons, I think people like familiarity. They like to be able to count on something. So I think that's what I try to do with Greg Heffley. I don't like to change it up too much.
Did you? I'm sure you had some people that inspired you to even become a comic strip guy, let alone an author. Who were some of these people?
Well, when I was a kid, I really wanted to be a part of that fraternity of cartoonists like Bill Watterson and the guy and Gary Larson, who did The Far Side. I wanted to be a part of that experience, and when I grew up, I tried to get my work published, and I couldn't. So I really had to go in a different direction. So I think I'm a cartoonist, but I'm a different kind of cartoonist.
So what do you think you would have, or what ideas do you think you would have done if the Diary of a Wimpy Kid book series wouldn't have been successful for you?
I think I would have kept plugging away. It might have been hard to keep working at this, but I felt like I was a decent writer, so I felt like I had a shot to get my work seen in some way. I felt like I could kind of outwork other people in some ways, like I was willing to put in the time. So I think I would have found a way. I'm not sure what that way would have been, but I think I would have found something.
But luckily, you don't have to worry about that because we all know that you have become successful because of all this. And do you see this series continuing even after book number 8, or what's your plan?
Yeah, I do. I'm going to write at least one more book, or at least 2 more books, and we'll see where it goes from there. I'm not sure what the future of the characters is, but if I'm writing well, isn't to stop.
And I'm sure you too are a lot. Are there a lot of kids that are are familiar with your work when you go on tour and when you get to meet some of these people?
Yeah, I do. I meet a lot of kids out there in the world, and that's the most rewarding part because I work hard on the books, and then finally I get to go out and see the fruits of my labor, and I get to meet the kids who are actually reading the books.
I think that it's kind of neat because a lot of authors, take the time to to let alone take time for kids. They take time for adults. They wouldn't really take time for kids, and you're one of the rare few that actually would take time for who, whether they're familiar with your book series or not, you would still take time for that kid, and I think that's quite neat. Yeah.
That's very nice to say, and I feel it's really rewarding to get to meet this. So thank you.
Yeah, no problem. And the last question that I have for you is a question that I like to ask anybody, especially when they're as big of icon as you've become in your career. What advice would you have for somebody who actually be an upcoming author or who wanted to create something similar to what you're doing, but not exactly similar? But what advice would you have for somebody that wants to do your line of work?
I would say I would encourage, I think they have a winning idea, to nurture it rather than putting it right out there, to try to develop the idea. It takes you about 10 years to be an expert in something, and I think it's worth putting in that time to really create a world and a vision that's complete.
Okay. All right, well, I tell you what, Jeff, I appreciate having you on. I mean, this is, like I said, a rare treat, and I hope to see more stuff from you.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
All right, you have a good one. Bye.
Take care.
And that was Mr. Jeff Kinney. A little quick interview, but I just figure I just had a few questions that I wanted to ask him. Let alone, I think it was kind of cool just the fact to be able to talk to him, because this will probably be, as I was making an announcement before, probably one of my last interviews that I do for a while, because I want to focus now on making more YouTube videos and stuff, and I'm just kind of burnt out of doing interviews and stuff. Done. This would be number 51 of 2013, and when you add that to the 20 that I did last year, that's 71 interviews in about over a year and 3 months anyway, since I restarted this series. I will probably do some more interviews later on, but for right now, I just want to take a break and be able to do other things and pursue other goals and stuff now that I'm here in Rapid City and stuff. So I appreciate you guys for tagging along for this interview, and I appreciate everybody who listened to all the other interviews. Please continue to keep tuned in to the YouTube channel, because you never know, you never know who would be next up in line. But I think from all the people I interviewed from way back in June of 2006, from Greg the Hammer Valentine all the way to now Jeff Kinney, I think that's definitely a lot, people. And when you tally it up, even though on my YouTube page it only says about 86 or 87 people I've interviewed, but really I've interviewed well over 100 people in my time of doing interviews, and I have, if I were to quit today, I would definitely have nothing to be ashamed of, because I've had the chance to do something really cool and something that has brought me some great luck here and there. But anyway, so we're going to take a break from doing some of the interviews for now and focus on other things, and so stay tuned. Once again, thanks for tuning in to another great Frankie Slauson Show interview, and ktech.org, ktq.org, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Well, thanks for tuning in to the Frankie Slauson Show on KTEQ Radio 91.3 FM. We hope we left you with a smile and a reason to tune in next week, right here on the Frankie Slauson Show. It's where you want to be tuned into.
You've got something that everyone's got, but yours is much bigger. Totally fascinating!